It's a Thought Police free zone. The Liberty Lineup radio show, where independent thought just can't be bought.
I'm an American. Red, white, and blue. And I'm a citizen of this world and of heaven. Some things were meant to be together. I believe in faith and freedom. Got a country too. I believe with faith and freedom. We're gonna make it through.
Welcome to the Liberty Lineup, the Thursday segment. This is The Naked Truth, and we are where politics meets principles. We'd like to thank our show sponsor, EOS Mobile, the only cell phone service that supports conservative candidates and causes. Go to EOSCELL.com for more information and mention the Liberty Lineup show. We're going to be talking about, this is Ben McClintock and Enoch Moore from defendingutah.org. This is The Naked Truth, and we're going to be having on this first hour Anonymous for talking about the Million Mask March, as well as the leak coming out regarding elected officials that are members of the racist KKK. Did you know that you can listen to this show from anywhere online through k-talk.com? You can access our calendar and join the chat room. You can also like our Facebook page at K-Talk Utah. And best of all, download the K-Talk app through iTunes or Google Play. Last month alone, K-Talk was heard in 82 countries. Help us spread liberty around the globe. We are, you're listening to, again, Liberty Lineup, and this is The Naked Truth. And we've got some fun technical issues going on, and so that we're dealing with. But we're going to work with it, and we're going to be helping you to know the naked truth about some things going on with our elected officials and what we're doing here. And we're going to have also talking about a lot of the legislators here in Utah. So make sure and stay tuned to that. And so let's see if your mics are working here, guys. So let's introduce yourself. The guy's from Anonymous.
Hi, I'm Bud.
And I'm Legion.
Thanks for having us here today, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
You have to speak right, kind of like almost kiss the mic. So kind of tell us a little bit about, because there might be a lot of question with folks. A lot of the times the media covers Anonymous in different ways and not always the most positive way. We want to make sure and at least give you guys your side of the story.
As far as...
So let's talk just about the organization. Is it, a lot of times when we think of an organization, we think of a centralized, this is what we believe, and this is, if you're a part of this, you at least believe these things. And is that how it works with Anonymous?
Well, I think...
straight into it. There you go.
I think when you're dealing with an Anonymous, a good example is the whole KKK leak. Mm-hmm. That was not sanctioned by Anonymous. It was people working with Anonymous on Op KKK, and we don't take credit for that list. Our list was always supposed to come out on the 5th. But when you have a big amorphous organization like Anonymous where we don't have any leaders, we don't have a mission statement, nobody can tell you you're in or out. They say it's like being in love. Nobody can tell you you are or you aren't Anonymous. You just know when you are. So yeah, a lot of stuff when you have an organization like that, I hesitate to call it an organization, but a lot of things get done in your name that you don't necessarily agree with or back, or sometimes didn't even have anything to do with, And
another thing about Anonymous is we are not an organization. Anonymous is based on an idea. And the difference between us and organizations such as the KKK or the Panthers, anyone like that, ideas cannot be killed. I mean, you come at us and you kill one of us, two more will rise up. You cannot kill an idea. Ideas are bulletproof. Anonymous is not an organization, which is why we don't have a president. We don't have a leader. We are leadership-less. And you really can't control Anonymous, and that's what's great, is that people that do thrive by Anonymous are coming after people for their ideas, their beliefs. It's all a belief system. So even your grandmother, your sister, your mother, your brother Your son can be anonymous. Anyone can be anonymous. It doesn't matter. It's just all a matter of where your belief system is, and it's all a matter of when you want to see stuff change. And we, the people, want to see it change now.
So what led to anonymous? Like, what was there something that kind of makes everybody kind of that would consider themselves anonymous?
4chan. 4chan, we were just a bunch of kids on 4chan back in the day, and
410 kind of.
4chan.
Oh, okay.
Lols.
And really what kind of sparked the whole thing is you would get on 4chan and you could post anonymously, so it would just say posted by anonymous, and somebody said something to the effect of, wouldn't it be funny if it was just one guy posting all this stuff on here? And that's kind of where the name came from. And really the first time we got out and beat the streets is when the Church of Scientology tried to take down some videos we had up making fun of Tom Cruise and basically the things that he was saying. And they tried to take that down, and we're like, no, this is our internet. The thing that we've always loved about the internet is you can say whatever you want, and everybody has any right to get offended or tell you whatever they feel like telling you. So we held a protest against the Church of Scientology. We actually took down some white supremacist radio talk show hosts. And that's just kind of how it started. It started as a group of people that were basically just there for the lulz. They just wanted to laugh. And
so that might seem like a contradiction to some people. Like, they wanted to take down yours, but then you went and took down some white supremacist talk radio. What would you say would you say that might be contradictory, or might be a reason why that was okay to take down but not yours?
No. Basically what happened is we had never set out with intentions of taking down this guy's right to free speech. He had sent out some attacks on us and things like that, and we just basically we responded, so that we didn't actually like get online and like take his stuff down and block him from speaking. He eventually lost so much credibility with people that
his radio show just went down.
Yeah, and basically that's
the way you do it. Is you make somebody lose so much credibility and popularity that they've got no voice anymore.
That's one way to do it.
we just try to speak our piece. The guy, the KKK guy, he was just a white supremacist.
Independent white supremacist.
Ted Turner. Right?
Yes.
Hal Turner.
No,
Hal Turner.
Oh yeah, Hal Turner. Yeah, he did he worked for the FBI actually.
Yeah, see, and I didn't know
So
that.
does Sabu from Anonymous, which we hate. Expect us.
But the whole thing about that is he was mad at us because we were supporting some black movements, and he basically said, you're just a bunch of kids in your mom's basement. So we went out, we beat the streets, we stood in front of his radio show, we called into his radio show, we argued with him, we got nasty, and and eventually, there were hackers that called themselves anonymous, and they would do things like they would get his credit card information and max out his credit cards and order like 400 pizzas to his house. And it's funny, while I don't condone stealing from anybody, it was kind of funny to me at the time.
Right. It's kind of the hard balance of, you're like, I wouldn't do that, but that's pretty funny.
Yeah. He's going to be eating pizza for a while. So.
Right.
So when you talk, you need to talk a little closer.
Oh. Is that better?
Pretty close
All
to
right.
kissing the mic. So it kind of so we got some background on how basically it started and some of the things that you've been involved with. How did this Million Mask March that goes on the 5th of November? What's up with that?
Well, back in Britain, I think it was the 1600s, something like that. Guy Fawkes tried to blow up the Houses of Parliament because the government was getting too big. And he was hung for his crimes. Ever since then, the idea of freedom and freedom of oppression from your big government has come to mind with a lot of people. There are a lot of people that are involved with Anonymous that do not agree with some of the things we do.
We're going to a break. Sorry, real quick, got to cut you off. This is Ben McClintock and Enoch Moore, and we are back on K-Talk Radio, AM 630, k-talk.com.
Is my mic working too? Doesn't sound like it's working.
With the Liberty lineup. And this is the Naked Truth segment, sponsored by EOS Mobile, the cell phone service for conservatives, and we're checking mic levels, making sure everything works. We make sure that this is going to be a good quality show, talking with Anonymous and how and the big things in the news today with them. They've got their Million Mask March, as well as the release of government officials. And just like Anonymous, not everybody in Anonymous agrees with everything that everybody in Anonymous does. Not everything that they do, of course, is something that the Defending the Liberty lineup might agree with, but we wanted to make sure, because we want to be the naked truth, where we want to show you what's going on with elected officials, and that's the release of this anonymous hack that's going on is really something that needs to be mentioned and talked about. You need to make sure and keep them off that when that gets released, because I don't think it's been released yet today, has it, from what we know?
The list of KKK members
Yeah.
has not been released.
Okay. That's supposed to come out today sometime, though?
That is supposed to come out today.
Okay. Before we went on the break, we were talking about the origins of this Million Mask March and Guy Fawkes and how he didn't like how government was getting so big in England. And take us from there.
Well, the thoughts that I have on the issue is the whole 5th of November thing happened long before Anonymous ever came into existence.
Yeah.
Guy Fawkes, he didn't like his religious government, and he wanted to implement a different system of religious government, which I don't necessarily agree with, but he stood up for what he believed in and tried to implement what he felt was a better system. So you fast forward years later, and people in Britain are going out on the 5th of November, lighting bonfires and things like that, and then you have this movie, V for Vendetta, that comes out. Guy Fawkes is basically a pop culture icon now. The reason
V for Vendetta, that's based on a graphic novel,
yeah,
Comic
which was
book.
based on history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what you have is this movie come out, and people think that Anonymous sees itself as Guy Fawkes because we wear the mask. I see how that's misleading. But if you watch the end of the movie, he hands out hundreds and thousands of masks, and the citizens show up wearing the masks. They're all standing as one. You can't tell them apart. And they march on Parliament against soldiers with guns. And that's kind of really what Anonymous glorifies, and how we see ourselves as citizens that are showing up, standing as one, not standing as individuals, standing together to try to affect the change that we want to see in the world.
Yeah, we stand in solidarity with each other. It's just what we do, regardless of race, religion, anything like that. Anything that deciphers other people that the big people try and make us believe. When you put that mask on, we are in solidarity. It doesn't matter what you believe religiously, what ethnicity you are. It doesn't matter. Anyone can be anonymous, and that's one good thing about Anonymous is there is no membership. All you have to do is have a belief and want to see things change, like I said before.
And a mask.
Well, you don't necessarily have to have a mask
Right.
either. You can paint your face. You can wear a bandana. You can go plain-faced. Sometimes I go plain-faced because we've had people say that we're cowards because we hide behind a mask. No, the mask marks solidarity, which means
It's symbolic.
symbolic.
Yeah.
Yes, very symbolic. Very. And hold 1 second. It says November 5th, so I just want to say it. Remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder treason and plot. I know of no reason the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot.
Yes, sir.
Expect us.
But yeah, that's kind of what we were talking about earlier, where I called Anonymous a big amorphous group because, basically the way it works is if you have an idea, you state it, and if you're heard, people that don't like it will try to stop your movement from happening. Even within in Anonymous, we argue all the time. People that, and if enough people like your movement or like your ideas, they'll get behind you. So it's basically just we try to go by the will of the people. We don't tell people how they can protest or how they can try to affect change in the world. We always just say if you want into this, if you want to see a change, let's make it happen. Yeah.
Okay. And so what led to doing it in Salt Lake? It's kind of seems a little bit not something you would normally see in Salt Lake.
Well, we do have issues in Salt Lake. There's been a lot of police brutality protests in Salt Lake. There's some police killings that we didn't necessarily agree with.
And Utah is also like the top 5 of Utah killings. Utah police kill more people than gangs, rapists, murderers. Utah police are the top of the homicide list on Utah.
Actually, the very top is your significant other. You're more likely to be killed by your significant other than anybody on earth. So,
Or a cop. So don't call the cops when you're fighting with your significant other.
Yeah, you're very likely.
Or you're going to end up dead, probably.
Double your chances.
So we in Salt Lake, and we don't just stand for Salt Lake issues. We stand for issues all over the world that we feel
worldwide
need changing. And one thing that you have to realize is that if you're in America, you're in the 1%. You are in the 1% of the Earth's population as far as wealth, as far as your standard of living. So I guess a lot of people see it as, what are you guys complaining about? You know, you have this great standard of living and things like that. And that's true, but we do want to affect change in the world for people other than ourselves. We care about issues other than that just basically affects us.
And no one. What sucks for people is that no one stands up until it happens to them. Okay, they look at other things and go, oh, well, that's not my family, and they're comfortable in their comfortable lives. In order to disrupt the establishment, we got to make them uncomfortable. And Anonymous may look bad for doing it, but we do it because we know that it's right. You know what I mean? Some things we do against the law, but we do it because it's right, and the law is trying to suppress the truth. And until people are bothered by it, they won't stand up. We need more people to stand up without that happening to them so it doesn't happen to them. So if it happens to them, yeah, they stand up. I've seen it happen many a times. It's weird. But until then, a lot of people don't stand up because they are very comfortable. They got a nice job, a nice house, a nice family. I understand that. I understand why you're comfortable. But wait until it happens to you? No, stop it before it happens to you.
So is there a specific, we've talked about in the past kind of the how they use for revolution, they create a division based on true things, but they want to get us divided. That's how they are able to, it's one of the major ways to do it. And so they bring up legitimate issues of police brutality, but at the same time you've got on the other side, they're actually being trained by the feds. And so they're trying to get the feds to control the local police, but it's the feds who are actually the ones training the local police to do what they're doing. And so it's not, there's a lot of false solutions out there, and they're creating these divisions to get us to support these false solutions. But what was specifically going on that we've got, that you guys wanted to do it here in Salt Lake? Is there something that is kind of unified at this Million Mask March, or is it just a general, we're sick of big government and kind of leave us alone type of thing?
Well, the best way I can explain it is, for me personally, I feel like I wanted to be a citizen of the world. And I see things going on here at home and overseas and everywhere else, and I see things that my government does in my name with my tax dollars, and you know, I don't necessarily agree with all that, and I wanted to get involved. I wanted to do something about it. Anonymous came later for me. As far as the Million Mask March, it's kind of a blanket coverage for all the issues that we fight for all year around. Because this is not a once-a-year thing. I'm out at rallies once, twice, 3 times a month usually. We're doing right now a food drive and a jacket drive for the homeless. Like we're about this every day. So, I mean, for me personally, I can't speak for everybody, but the Million Mask March is something we do for us. We put on our masks, we get together with our brothers and sisters, we beat on drums, we make some noise, we fly our flags, and we're trying to spread awareness. But to me, it's for us. It's something that we do for us every year, you know.
Mm-hmm. We even do it for the people that don't have a voice or choose not to have a voice. We even stand up for those people that are, you know, trying to ridicule us and talk stuff on us. We're standing up for them as well. We can take the ridicule and we can be that person that can be ridiculed because we're doing what is right. And at the end, everyone will realize that. Which we are not at the end yet, but the beginning is near.
We just stand up for what we believe in. We can't speak for everybody, but we do what we feel in our hearts to be right. And yeah, I mean, I've had people, we do protests for the treatment of the homeless in Salt Lake, and I've had homeless people come up to me and say, oh man, I fully support what you guys are doing. And I tell them the same thing I tell everybody. hey, come march with us. And they'll go, no, man, I'm too scared of the police. I'm too scared of the public opinion or the public eye, things like that. So, yeah, we do. We try to do this for people that support us but don't feel that they have a voice or feel scared or whatever it may be that keeps them from coming out,
Yeah. So this thing in the news kind of nationwide is going on right now is the anonymous leak of the elected officials with affiliations with the Klan, with the Ku Klux Klan. Kind of give us some background on that. What's that all about?
Well, our list was always supposed to come out on the 5th. I don't know whose list this is. I am not that high up in dealing with that.
He's a hacker. He claimed to not be anonymous, but he is a hacker that is involved in Operation KKK.
And that's the one that's the one that already came out that everybody knows about.
That's already came out.
So the official list will come out today.
What's the story about the official list that's supposed to come out today?
They claim they're still releasing it. The guys up higher, the hackers that are doing that kind of thing, they claim that they're still going to release it, and they haven't claimed any connection to the one that already came out. They've actually refuted it. They've gone through and tried to vet it, and they found some of the things that they posted or that they've shared with me. They found a gay, I think he was a mayor. They found a Latin woman,
Hispanic woman, like a Hispanic woman involved with the KKK. I don't find that very, very
people
likely.
of the yeah. They found people of the Jewish faith in the list, and none of these people would be allowed in an organization like the KKK. So
no way.
I don't understand it.
And so have they compared it to their list, and so they're like, no, there's no way.
They didn't give any
list.
official thing about the names that were released because we weren't going to release anything until the 5th. So today, the official names will be released. You might see some names on there that you already have seen, and you might not. At this point, I can't officially tell you if you will or will not, but later on today, the official names will be released.
But it's likely that the Jewish and the Hispanics and the gays probably aren't on that list.
I would say
so.
probably
not.
Probably not. That would be interesting, though, is if,
that's as
if the,
likely
if
to see
the names
Obama
did
on
match.
That list.
Well, and basically one
interesting.
thing to say is that they've been watching since the whole Ferguson incident where Anonymous showed a lot of support for protesters there. Since that incident, they'd hacked into Twitter accounts, they'd hacked into Facebook accounts, they'd hacked into KKK websites, and they've basically been monitoring those websites and pages and stuff. So a lot of times they've even said, we're not saying necessarily that these guys are KKK, but we are saying that they do have a lot of interaction with the KKK, that they are emailing, they're messaging each other, they're talking, they're collaborating in some way. So I want to be clear that we're not saying that these people are full-fledged members of the KKK, but we are saying that they do have ties to the KKK.
So ties more than just like they're doing research to find out the bad things that they're doing so they can stop them. The affiliation that has been tied to is like they're supporting them and trying to collaborate together.
Like they're taking money from them to pass certain laws to enact more white privilege.
And they know that they're doing that.
Yes.
Well, they are trying their best to know. See, that's the thing about the reason they've taken so long on this list is they are trying to vet everyone, but like they said there's over 1,000 names on the list. They're trying to get as personal and close and detailed about every name on that list as they can. It's a huge list. So like I said, we're not going to sit here and claim that every person on that list puts on a hood every Sunday and goes to Klan meetings. But we are going to claim that they have either they've had some kind of interaction with them more than just leaving a hateful message on their Facebook page. You know what I mean?
Okay.
A consistent interaction.
So, and that's something that I think we see in the news about the story is we've assumed that Anonymous has gone into the Klan's, website and membership records and hacked their personal computers to find out, and they're going to be releasing all of the just membership list, and that's not what this is.
That would be a simple copy and paste job. We don't have any such list. I mean, if we had a list like that, you could just screenshot it and put it up. It would take you a day. This is their list.
That they've been researching, not just copying and pasting, like you said.
We've been researching and trying to figure out our own because, as far as I know, they don't have any membership log on the internet. That's just what I've heard.
Gotcha.
You want to try something here?
Yeah. So, So I think that's something we need to understand and have all of our listeners understand as they do that, is that it's not just, like you said, a screenshot of the membership list. It's going through and looking at the Facebook messages,
Making sure that it is correct.
making sure that it's not just membership list, but it's affiliations and doing things to support that.
Yeah, we would never try and ruin someone's family life or their lifestyle just based on a theory. We make sure that the facts are present before we release any names and information. We will make sure that it is credible, and we will make sure that the proof is readable for anyone who's looking at the list.
So the list will have the background. They'll say why they put the names on there. So anybody looking at the list will be able to say, okay, I believe this is a good, credible association, and this one might be a little bit fishy, or is that?
I don't know. I don't have that information.
There will be proof. There will be links to proof. There will be pictures of proof. There will be
Maybe
documents
not for
of
every
proof.
name, but-
Yeah, maybe not for every name, but most names we try and provide the proof. That way people don't think that we're just, talking crap.
So is there anything, as we're getting towards the break, anything that you wanted to share?
I
20
do have a
seconds.
story. Well, I don't think we have enough time for that. Maybe after the break.
All right, well, before the break, let me ask everybody, go to your nearest capital, whatever state or country you're listening from. Go ahead and go to your nearest capital. You don't have to wear a mask, wear a bandana, go plain-faced. It doesn't matter. Go out and support the movement. Support, Anonymous. We do the fight for you. We'd like to see the numbers out there today. Today is supposed to be the biggest Million Mask March in Anonymous history, so we'd like to see you all out today.
This is Ben McClintock and Enoch Moore, and after the break, we will be talking more about what's going on here in Utah. You are listening to K-Talk, The Naked Truth, and we'll take your calls right after the break, 801-254-5855.
We are back, and this is the Liberty Lineup, and this is Enoch Moore and Ben McClintock on K-Talk Radio. Check us out on k-talk.com. This is the Liberty Lineup Thursday segment, The Naked Truth, and we are talking with Anonymous today, who is putting on the Million Mask March in Salt Lake City, and we are just getting some behind-the-scenes explanation on a little bit about who they are, and they kind of have a diverse opinions on the things they stand for. We have a little explanation they wanted to give us about something that's been in the news lately.
I wanted to talk about, this was actually around a year ago, when Officer Darren Wilson had shot Mike Brown in Ferguson, Missouri, and Anonymous said, we're gonna go and we're gonna find the name of the officer, and we're gonna release that name to the public because the police aren't doing it. And what happened is they ended up releasing the wrong name. I just wanted to talk about how that happens within Anonymous. So what happens is someone proposed this op in our chat boards, and a lot of people got behind it. And a lot of different groups within Anonymous got behind this and said, we're going to all try to find this. And one of the groups found some evidence that they thought that this man was the man who had shot Mike Brown. And a lot of them on those message boards said, evidence is not proof. Let's hold off for 2 days. We were already behind the deadline when we'd said we would release a name. But we said, let's hold off for a day or two and try to figure this out and try to get some more evidence or some proof, some firm proof, preferably. Well, somebody within the group that had come forward and found this name that they thought was, the officer, it very quickly turned into, no, this is surely the officer, it's got to be, and all this. Somebody within that group got a little overexcited, got a little too sure of themselves, and went ahead and released that name. The other groups within Anonymous immediately reacted when we found out about this, and there was people, even from the group that found the name, that we're trying to take this down. But as we always say, once something's on the internet, it never gets deleted. So that name was leaked. It was out there, and there wasn't a lot we could do about it at that point. We try to regulate things like that, but we don't have a lot of control over that. We can't tell people what to do and what not to do.
So that kind of speaks to how you're decentralized, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. So there's no real official place anyone can go of did Anonymous really do this or did Anonymous not do this, right? Because of that.
There's no official place.
There is, but you have to be willing to work for it. You have to.
Yeah, they won't just give it to you.
Just to contact Anonymous, I had to set up a secure system using Xubuntu, encrypt my drive, encrypt my free space, running a Tor browser with a VPN, DuckDuckGo, all that stuff, and then you have to find them. So just to be in contact with some of these guys that are doing the more behind-the-scenes hacker things, there's a lot you have to do. So it is hard to get information from over here to where the hackers are, to over here where the guys like me that are just beating the streets. It's hard to get that flow of information. That's actually what they try to regulate with everything that they have. So
No doubt.
if it was
Right.
easy, we wouldn't be much of an organization. So.
Right. So that kind of makes it sound like there is some, not hierarchy necessarily, but how would you kind of explain that?
The hackers, they're like gods to a lot of people in Anonymous. They really get glorified. I personally don't agree with a lot of stuff they do. But I'm not going to get into that because I don't want to.
Sure.
But I don't want to spout my unpopular opinions all over. But yeah, to a lot of members of Anonymous, these hackers are glorified and they're like these gods. They still can't tell you what to do, and I don't think they would try to. They don't really get into the activist, beat the streets activist type stuff. So, but yeah, I guess you could call that some kind of a hierarchy where I guess there's local celebrities and things like that.
But that makes sense. So
But
it's
no
still pretty
official-
organic.
No official stance. There is
Right.
no official leadership of Anonymous.
I remember back in the 2012 election for Ron Paul, there was a message board that came out that was like, be anonymous, but you had to like sign up and put your user and password. And it's like, how anonymous is that? And I remember like that's not even, I'm like, there's no way that's those guys setting up a board. It's right.
No
It was totally, looked like a trap to me.
Well, first of all, one of the main rules in Anonymous, other than the first rule, don't talk about Fight Club, but other than that, one of the main rules about Anonymous is never ask for and never give out any personal information over the web. So if anybody messages you asking you for your unsecured email address, asking you for your real name, your street address, sometimes a lot of people won't even give out the city or state that they live in. If anybody messages you asking for that, you can be pretty sure that they don't know anything about Anonymous, that they're not a part of that movement. So,
Right. So that's good to understand that not everything out there you see anonymous is really anonymous, and there's kind of a lot of confusion. And,
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you don't have a leadership or an official place to get that from. Is people will make up rumors or people will claim to be us. There are also other people claiming to be us and committing crimes to make Anonymous look bad. And if you see anyone with a mask on, a Guy Fawkes mask on, committing a crime, stop the crime and confiscate that mask. Place them under citizen's arrest. Know your rights. And call the cops. We Anonymous, we are not violent. We don't do that. We don't commit violence against anybody. Once
Unless
the
you're a
riots,
hacker.
right? Once the riots happened in Ferguson, Anonymous people, they just left. With their masks on, they left. They weren't a part of the riots. As soon as the riots and breaking windows started happening, we left. There was no more, and there were a couple people with masks on, but we have verified that they are not anonymous people. They just put the mask on because there were people there with masks on that looked the same.
So how is that possible if there's no structure, and if you just believe in these things, then you are anonymous? How can you guys say that they're not anonymous?
Well, basically, it's like I told you earlier. If you have an idea that enough people in Anonymous don't like, they'll try to shut you down.
Yep.
If everybody in the world joined Anonymous tomorrow, you would still have the same problems that you have in the world. Everybody would basically believe the same things that they believe now. we try to, as much as possible, regulate things that we don't want the mask to represent.
Exactly.
If that makes any sense. So as soon as people start breaking windows and lighting cop cars on fire, and the guy that killed some police officers in New York, we very publicly said that's not what the bulk of us
Yeah, that's not what we
agrees
do.
with. And I'm sure there is anonymous members that agree with that type of stuff, and we're fully behind it. And yeah, you can't say that they're not anonymous, but you also can't say that you support them.
Exactly.
I would even say those guys. I would even question the need for you guys even to apologize for them, because most likely they're agent provocateur plants, right?
Exactly.
They're not even like from your group with some bad ideas. And we've talked about on this show before. There's this kind of 5-step plan that's been used in other countries by the elite to overturn countries, and the first step is causing division. And so when they see an opportunity to cause division, they'll go in and they'll kind of make things worse when there was maybe some legitimate concern at first, but then they're like, this is a great chance for us to create problems.
So I want to start this off by saying we have no proof of this, but we think that the original list that was leaked of supposed KKK members, a lot of us think that might have been somebody trying to discredit Anonymous or discredit what we're trying to do here, so that when the real list comes out, people are not going to have any reason to want to listen to it, or you know what I mean.
And there's even evidence that that's happened to you guys in the past, right?
Yes, sir.
There was I can't remember the name of the company. You'll probably remember, right? But there was a guy who was going to feed some fake information to WikiLeaks in your name, right? It was in the film that came out about you guys. There was a documentary film.
Yeah, We Are Legion.
Okay, what was We Are Legion the name of the film?
We Are Legion is the name of the film.
Okay, and you guys, someone hacked this corporate executive's account and found the emails where he specifically said, I'm going to send this fake information to Anonymous because Anonymous is going after me and I need to discredit them in advance.
I don't know anything about that, actually.
Okay.
That is true.
Okay. Yeah. See, I had never heard that
true.
story.
That did happen. We were going after this corporate guy, and he wanted to try and discredit us, but we found the emails before he was able to release them, and
he had to apologize and say, "Yep, I'm sorry, you
yep.
got me," and completely admitted. So that precedent is there. There's no question of whether
just like a message to the KKK that we sent them last year, same message we sent to anyone trying to discredit Anonymous. Yeah, you will not defeat us and expect us, because we will be there.
Okay, so you guys have a march to get to.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
March will start at 11 at the Capitol, Salt Lake City. We will be marching through Salt Lake City. Oh, shoot, we're late. Okay, but citizens of the world, we are anonymous. We are Legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.
Thanks for coming on the show, guys.
Appreciate you having us.
Appreciate you having us, guys.